Today's show is going to cover the Ukraine2Canada Travel Fund, measures for labor shortages, budget 2022 for housing, affordable housing in Canada, and affordable housing in Canada for international students.
IRCC Minister Sean Fraser announced the launch of the Ukraine2Canada Travel Fund. This travel fund is for Ukrainians who have approved travel documents looking to come to Canada. Partners include the Shapiro Foundation, Air Canada, and Miles for Migrants. As of April 20th, Canadians and Canadian-owned businesses can donate Aeroplan points using Miles for Migrants or Air Canada. Air Canada has already donated 100 million points, and the Shapiro Foundation has promised to match any points donated by Canadians up to 50 million points. The Jewish Foundation of the Greater Toronto Area is also accepting cash donations, and there is a goal to get 10,000 Ukrainians to Canada using this method.
Invitations for the Canadian Experience class, Federal Skilled Worker class, and Federal Skilled Trades classes will resume in early July, and most new applications will be processed within the 6-month service standard. Minister of Immigration Sean Fraser also announced a temporary policy that gives recent international graduates with expiring temporary status an opportunity to stay in Canada longer. Other policy changes that will take place in the summer include applicants no longer being required to stay in Canada while their application is being processed, applicants who are able to apply for a open work term permit while waiting for their permanent residency application to be finalized will be able to get their work permits valid until the end of 2024. And immediate family members who are outside of Canada and who were included in a principal applicant's permanent resident application will be eligible for their own open work permit.
The federal government announced the budget for 2022 on April 7th. It paid a lot of attention to making Canadian housing safer and more affordable. Measures included doubling construction within the next decade, which means a $4 billion investment into the Housing Accelerator Fund to make 100,000 new homes within the next 5 years, as well as $1.5 billion invested into the Rapid Housing Initiative, which means 6,000 new affordable housing units across Canada. Also included was more support for first-time home buyers, including a tax-free savings account and doubling tax credit for first-time home buyers. There's also a goal to create a home buyer's bill of rights to end things like blind bidding.
So that really seems like it concerns a lot of Canadian citizens, but I'm sure it affects folks who are just coming into Canada too, right?
Definitely. Whether you're coming in as a permanent resident or even just a temporary resident for a couple of years, you definitely will need a place to stay in Canada if you're not staying with family. So the Canadian housing market and updates on it, they are very relevant to immigrants as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And also, we're going to be talking more about housing in Canada with Sarah's segment first on affordable housing.
Coming to Canada takes a lot of financial preparation. Finding an affordable home in Canada can be a very difficult task, especially with the current housing market in the country. To make your transition easier, here are some tips and insights into cities and towns in Canada with really affordable housing. First of all, it's important to note that cities aren't always the best option. If you can work remotely or get a job offer in a smaller town, the cost of living is much more affordable, and this definitely includes the housing market. The GTA, or Greater Toronto Area, including Toronto, has become an increasingly expensive place to live. This includes the housing for homes, condos, apartments for renting or buying. The average price of a single detached home in Toronto is $1.5 million Canadian. The same is true for Vancouver and surrounding areas in British Columbia. The average cost of a home is $1.5 million Canadian. However, there are lots of other affordable places to live in Canada, both cities and towns. Think about the lifestyle that you want and what you would be comfortable with, and check out these other affordable options. The first city we'll be looking at is St. John, and this is a bustling city in New Brunswick on the east coast of Canada. The population is 67,000, and popular sectors for work includes healthcare, public administration, retail, manufacturing, and construction. Housing types include mostly single detached homes. However, there is a range in size, from lofts to 4-bedroom homes. Most houses were built before the 1960s or in the 1980s. 2/3 of the population are homeowners and the rest are renters, and the average cost of a home is 277,000 Canadian. Our next town is Thunder Bay, located in the province of Ontario. Thunder Bay has a population of 108,000 people, and popular job sectors include forestry, mining, and aerospace. Housing types include 70% detached homes and the rest are apartment buildings. However, there is also a good variety of sizes here as well. 40% of housing is constructed in pre-1960s, with the rest being constructed in the 1960s and 1980s. 70% of properties are owned and 30% are rented. The average cost of a home in Thunder Bay is $282,000 Canadian. An interesting fact about Thunder Bay: it is part of the RNIP program, which stands for the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program. This program is community-led and it is for people who were wishing to live in a smaller, more affordable community. So check out all that Thunder Bay has to offer you. Our next town we're looking at is in the province of Quebec, and it is called Sherbrooke. Sherbrooke has a population of 161,000 people. Jobs that are in demand include secretary, firefighter, snowplower and truck driver, and emergency dispatcher. Housing types in this area are 40% single detached homes, with the rest being small apartment buildings. There was no construction boom in this town, so all properties were made over the course of several decades. 50% of residents own their homes, while 50% are renters. The average price of a house in Sherbrooke is 347,000 Canadian, while the price of a condo is 252,000 Canadian. Last but certainly not least on our list is Edmonton, Alberta. Edmonton is the capital city of Alberta with a population of 1 million. There are lots of universities and colleges to study at here, including the University of Alberta, and lots of job opportunities. Popular sectors include healthcare, childcare, and tech. Housing types include mainly detached homes with some small apartment buildings and townhomes. 30% of properties were built after 2000 and 70% were built in the 1960s and pre-1960s. 2/3 of home residents are owning their homes and the rest are renters. The average cost of a home in Edmonton, Alberta is $561,700 Canadian. This is much more than what we've looked at previously. However, it's important to note that this is a capital city and the population is also much higher. As you can see, there is a large variety of types of homes and costs of homes in Canada. There are many cities and towns in the country with affordable housing situations, so find what works best for you.
Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the most affordable cities for international students in Canada. We're going to be taking a look at the statistics that have been provided to us by Remax Blue, which is an accredited real estate agency in Canada. I'll also be sharing the designated learning institutions for each city. If you want to find out more information on these cities, be sure to check out their article or take a look at the DLI list from the Government of Canada. The first city we're going to be taking a look at is St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The St. John's metropolitan area includes 12 nearby communities, and aside from St. John's, it is the largest city in Conception Bay South. The DLI-approved schools that are in St. John's include the Centre for Nursing Studies, College for the North Atlantic, Kean College for Advanced Educational Systems. The second city we're going to be taking a look at is Regina, Saskatchewan. Regina is the 16th largest city in Canada. And did you know that from 1934 to 1935, Regina actually published its own coinage, and it is now highly collectible and very rare. DLI-approved schools in Regina include the Regina Flying Club, the Saskatchewan Polytechnic School, and University of Regina. The third city that we're going to be taking a look at is Winnipeg, Manitoba. Did you know that in Winnipeg, you can skate along the longest skating rink in the world? It's called the Red and Anishinaabe River, and it runs for over a length of 8.5 kilometers. Some DLI-approved schools in Winnipeg include the Academy of Learning in Winnipeg North, Aveda Institute for Hairstyling, and Booth University College. The fourth city we're going to be taking a look at is Edmonton, Alberta. A fun fact about Edmonton is that it is home to the largest mall in northern Canada. It's called the West Edmonton Mall and is home to 800 stores. But aside from shopping, you can also see live dolphin shows and an indoor lake. Some DLI-approved schools in Edmonton include the Academy of Learning Edmonton, Alberta College of Massage Therapy, and many other schools that you can check out. Now, on to our wrap-up.
So Adrian, that was really useful information about housing for international students. And I know you have lived on and off residence, I think, at your university. So can you speak to the importance of looking into pricing for renting?
Yes, of course. So I am a recent graduate at the University of Waterloo, and I've been living in the Waterloo region for the past 4 years or so now, on and off campus. Right now I'm living in a student housing situation with some friends. And something that I've learned is the importance of budgeting for rent, for groceries, for the phone bill, etc. It's very important, especially if you're living in Ontario, to have a good idea of how much housing is going to cost and how much you can afford at the current financial situation that you're in. And as Sarah, someone who has moved around a lot too, I'm sure you've experienced a lot of things with housing. Did you want to share a little bit about that too?
Yeah, I grew up in the Greater Toronto area, in Brampton, and it's, not affordable at all over there right now. But I currently live in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and I have family on the East Coast in New Brunswick. So it's very affordable in Moose Jaw to either rent or buy a home. And if you're not somebody who really wants that city dwelling life, there's lots of great schools, as well as lots of job opportunities here. So it's a really good option if you're coming to Canada and you want to start off with a cheaper home. Mm-hmm. It's even more affordable on the East Coast, actually. So I feel really lucky to be living here right now at this time of my life.
That's all for today. Thank you for joining us this week. Click on the bell icon and make sure to subscribe to the My Consultant channel for more information about the topics that we've covered. Be sure to visit MyConsultant.ca, where you can contact an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I'm Adrian Quijano.
And I'm Sarah Ostapchuk.
And we'll see you next week. Bye!